Hello, and welcome to United States History to 1877. This is Chapter 2, Colliding Cultures. My name is Tyler Rust, your guide and historian for Chapter 2. In this section, we'll learn 1. That Spain benefited before other European empires in the New World, and 2. Soon new rivals emerged to challenge Spain, and 3. England becomes a colonial empire in North America. Then we'll learn about how Jamestown proves the need for cooperation in the New World. And lastly, 5. That the New England colonies succeeded through their religious unity. Once established, Spain's colonies produced great wealth. The Spanish Empire then began to expand through the use of missions or religious centers across what today is Mexico and the southwestern United States. Spain began to conquer native peoples, and it spread into Florida and eastern New Mexico and California in the west. Before we go on, I want to recommend that you take a minute to record in your notes some of the information that you've already heard. This is a regular practice that we're going to use throughout this course. You should feel free to pause the lecture and start again when you're ready. Using the notes organizer, you should record important vocabulary, ideas, and events from this lecture and the text reading on the left-hand side of the page. And on the right-hand side, you should record your own thoughts, reactions, and questions. As Spain succeeded, new rivals emerged to challenge Spain's control of the New World. Spain's wealth attracted competing colonies from other European empires, like the Dutch, who established a trading post in what they called New Amsterdam, which is now known as Manhattan. The French Empire sought a northern passage through what is now Canada. The French set up trading posts and were cooperative with native peoples, and did not directly try to control the territory. The French Empire represents a middle ground, a kind of cross-cultural space for European and Native American cooperation. One of the greatest examples of this was New Orleans, which became one of the most important settlements in all of North America. Let's take another moment now to record some of the information in your notes. One way to use these lectures is to have the text open and the notes ready as you listen. Remember to record important vocabulary, ideas, and events, and then later go back to record your own thoughts, questions, and reaction. By 1530, the Portuguese had crossed over from colonizing Africa's west coast to create a new colony in what today is known as Brazil. With English colonization on the horizon, Spain had a 100-year head start, but English mercantilism was quickly making up for lost time. Mercantilism is a system where colonies provide raw materials to be made into products in the home country, producing gold for the home country. An example of this would be tobacco that was grown in North America and then refined in England and then sold. The colony at Jamestown was a perfect example of British mercantilism in North America. Jamestown represented this new drive for wealth and markets in the British colonies. Jamestown was a profit-seeking venture backed by investors. Most colonists who lived in Jamestown originally were unfit for labor in the wilderness. After nearly 1/3 of the Jamestown colony starved in the first year, Captain John Smith took over leadership of Jamestown. John Smith instituted mandatory work requirements for the colony. This represents evidence for the need to work together and not separately in the earliest days of American history. At Jamestown, cooperation not only with each other, but also with natives was essential. Planting tobacco changed everything for the colony. This crop was so labor-intensive that African slaves were introduced in 1619 to work for the British colonists. They could not survive on their own. The use of African slaves, therefore, represents the foundation of the economy of America. Their labor made colonization possible at the very beginning. In 1620, England established colonies in what they called New England. These Puritans, as they were called, sought to purify the Church of England with a better example. They were to be a city on a hill for the world to witness and to be inspired to be more like. Unlike Jamestown, these New England colonies of Massachusetts Bay, Connecticut, and Rhode Island were made up of families united by a common religion. The Puritans modeled their towns on Europe's example, but could not use plantations and slave labor. The climate of New England made large-scale farming impossible. Because disease had wiped out most Native American people in New England, the colonists did not have to fear local tribes. What did weaken the Puritans was a younger generation, less devout than the original settlers. Change and growth came in time. Take another minute now to record your thoughts and important information in your notes. Pause this lecture and start again when you're ready. In this lesson, we learned 5 major ideas. First, Spain benefited before other European empires in the New World. Second, soon, new rivals emerged to challenge Spain. Third, England became a colonial empire in North America. Fourth, Jamestown proves the need for cooperation in the New World. And lastly, number 5, the New England colonies succeeded through religious unity. This is United States history to 1877. Chapter 2, Colliding Cultures. This was recreated with original texts from the American Yawp, available at Stanford University, and edited by Joseph Locke and Ben Wright, and myself, Tyler Rust. To access the original texts, the note-taking pages, discussion questions, and vocabulary builders, go to historydojo.blog.